Hi, Smirconishers. Welcome back to smirconish.com. This is the editor's report. And as you know, I'm your editor, Gili. So let's get right to it with another great week of politics and news. As I do every week, I'm going to highlight some of the best original content on smirconish.com, which we call critical thinking, because we like that people from a diverse background with diverse opinions put a little analysis into the news and into recent events and write about it for us. The first critical thinking piece that I want to emphasize is Alan Braun. He wrote a piece called The Big Question for All of Us, and he really discusses the division and how politics got so divisive and what we should do about it and how we should go about changing it and uniting. Then Richard Morgan actually wrote two pieces this week, one called I Never Understood Propaganda Until Now, and he really talks about how the media, especially certain sides of the media and certain companies in media, are becoming more like propaganda machines as opposed to a free press. He also wrote another piece in this same realm called The Myth of the Left-Wing Press, where he kind of breaks down how right-wing pundits and a lot of shows on Fox News or Rush Limbaugh or Alex Jones, those types, how they created this basically falsehood where they label the free press, the press that fact checks itself and everybody else, they label them as left-wing in order to really divide people and create hatred and fear. So those are really two really interesting pieces. Then we have Ron Veronese, who wrote Debates, What Debates? And this is a really interesting piece because he discusses how the presidential debates later on in the election cycle, so not the primary debates, but when Donald Trump, who is proposed to be the Republican nominee and is the incumbent president, will debate whoever is going to be the Democratic nominee. And basically what Ron says is that it might be better not to have those presidential debates for both parties involved. So it's a really interesting piece. Check that one out. Then Denise Meredith wrote a piece called Post Big Game Hangover, where she discusses football and how football is the quintessential game that encompasses American sports, American lifestyle, American politics, the good, the bad, the controversial, and the ugly. So make sure to check that one out. James Wright wrote a piece called Impeachment Was Absolutely Worth It, where he kind of responds to one of Michael Smirconish's survey questions from last week's CNN show, and saying that, yeah, it's good to have a check on the president, especially when he did something wrong. Lastly, we have Terry Arnold, who wrote a piece called Waiting for the Other Shoe to Drop, where he discusses how Russia might influence this next election and the relationship between Russia and the United States at the moment. And lastly, I wrote a piece called Trump's Middle East Plan Isn't Pro-Peace, where I discuss how this new peace plan, which was created by the Trump administration and Jared Kushner at its forefront, was basically a plan to make Trump voters happy and to make Netanyahu voters happy, but it definitely didn't have any consensus from any Palestinians. In fact, the Palestinian leaders didn't even come to the table, and how basically it's not a plan that will be effective for creating peace and stability and economic stability in the region. Make sure to check that out. And lastly, that's it for the editor's report. Make sure to tune into SiriusXM on the POTUS channel, channel 124, Monday through Friday from 9 to 12, and on CNN for Smirconish at 9 a.m. on Saturdays. And that's it for today, folks. See you tomorrow on CNN, and have a great weekend. Bye.